Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining tonight's public information meeting. My name is Neetu Sham, and I'm one of the planners of the City of White Rock. It's my pleasure to start our meeting this evening. So tonight's public information meeting relates to a zoning amendment and minor development permit at 15439 Oxenham Avenue. So I'm just going to start with an overview and present some of the zoning related requirements as well as our official community plan policies, following which I will pass it on to the applicant who will present and explain the proposal. So at the moment we have no attendees, but in the meanwhile, I'm just going to bring up my presentation while we wait a couple of minutes. This is just to ensure we can have everyone who is planning on attending this evening join us. So we have no attendees. I'm just going to go through the presentation on time. And in the event we do have people attend, we can run over the presentation quickly and open the floor to questions. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Neetu Sham, and I'm one of the planners at the City of White Rock. The public information meeting this evening relates to a zoning bylaw amendment and minor development permit at 15439 Oxenham Avenue. This zoning bylaw amendment would take this property from the RS1 zone to a property-specific comprehensive development zone to allow for the construction of a duplex. There will be a minor development permit associated with the project. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is to inform you about the intent and details of this proposal and also to clarify the scope and any areas of relief sought by the applicant. The purpose of this event is to also receive your feedback and to answer any questions you may have. We are open to receiving comments and questions throughout the session. We will eventually get to a point in this event where we will publish all the comments we are receiving and do our best to respond to those comments. So this is a live event which is supported by city staff and is presented by the applicant. Mr. Harbinder Deol is the applicant and he'll be presenting from Berkshire Homes Limited. The meeting is being recorded and is going to be posted to the city's webpage and the city's YouTube page following this meeting. So if you wanted to watch the meeting or if you know someone that is not able to join this evening and may want to watch the meeting, they can watch it there. We will not be publishing any questions under the question and answer section of the meeting. That section of the event will be following my presentation and Harbinder's presentation. If any of the comments or questions are not appropriate or offensive, I will not be publishing those comments. If there are comments expressing non-support for this application, we will certainly publish those, as well as all the questions and comments that relate to the application. If you have any additional comments and questions following the meeting, you can email me at the email address seen on the screen, which is nsham@whiterockcity.ca. That is nsyam@whiterockcity.ca. Moving on. So just to give everyone some context, this project is located south of the hospital lands, located on the north side of Oxenham Avenue, as you can see highlighted in red in the ortho image here. In terms of the policy context that regulates the development, this development is within the mature neighborhood land use designation. So this is within our official community plan, and what that means is there is potential for single family homes, duplexes and triplexes in this designation. And so this proposal is consistent with the land use designation of the official community plan. In terms of the development permit areas that regulates the site, it is again within the mature neighborhood infill development permit area. And what this means is that the city has control over the form and character of what's being proposed. So it gives us a chance to look at things such as the overall design of the duplex, how the massing interacts with the surrounding context, and how the proposal will fit with the surrounding homes. So the zoning map on this slide shows a block which encompasses the subject property, which you can see highlighted in red. There are 2 existing RT1 zone properties in the nearby areas, and there are also 2 active applications for duplexes on Oxenham Avenue right now as well. There is a policy in the OCP that limits the proportion of duplexes and triplexes along a single block frontage to 20% of the total. So this application is still within the limits contemplated and would uphold the policy intention of the OCP. So coming to the proposal, the application itself is proposing to amend the existing RS1 unit residential zone, which is the zone that currently applies to this lot, to create a comprehensive development zone, a CD zone, which would be specific to this property. The CD zone is based on the RT1 duplex residential zone standards, with the exception of the minimum lot area. You can see the RT1 zone standards listed in the center column in the table on the screen. And this will allow for the construction of a duplex on a slightly less lot size. I'll now briefly expand on the existing zoning versus the required and proposed zoning. So right now the site is zoned RS1, as I mentioned, which is a 1-unit residential zone, and this allows for 1-unit residential use with an accessory use like a secondary suite or an accessory home occupation. So it would require 2 spaces for the single family use and 1 for the accessory use. That brings it to 3 spaces. On the proposed zoning for the duplex, it would enable a 2-unit residential use with an accessory use, which could be a home occupation or a boarding use, but not a registered secondary suite. Secondary suites are not permitted under the proposed zone. This proposal would require 4 parking spaces in total. That is 2 spaces for each dwelling unit, which is basically 1 more than the single family dwelling unit with a secondary suite. In terms of building height, the building height is the same for both the zones. It's 7.7 meters, which is about 2 stories over a partially in-ground basement, and this duplex proposal conforms to this height limit. In terms of lot requirements, with the exception of the lot area, the lot meets all other lot requirements for the RT1 zone standards, which is what the proposed CD zone will be based off. The lot coverage goes up slightly from 40% to 45% from the RS1 zone to the required RT1 zone. So the proposed duplex is below the maximum permitted lot coverage limit for the RT1 zone. The residential gross floor area stays the same between a single family home and in the RS1 zone. and a duplex lot at 0.5 times the lot area. So with this duplex zoning, you don't get any additional square footage. So with this brief introduction, I'm going to pass it on to Harbinder from Berkshire Homes Limited, who's going to give an overview of the proposal. I'm just going to ask Harbinder to share his screen, and he'll be able to walk you through the specifics in this proposal. Harbinder, please feel free to share your screen whenever you're ready. Thank you. I believe you may be muted.
Yeah, no, I'm on right now. Thank you, Neetu. Can you hear me?
Yes, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And the screen, you guys can see it now?
That's right, yes.
Awesome, perfect. So thanks, Neetu, again. So good evening, members of council. I'm not sure who's on right now. I see Greg and yourself. Hi, Greg. My name is Harbinder Dial, and I represent Berkshire Home Limited as the applicant for the rezoning and minor DP development permit for 15439 Oxenham Avenue. Thank you for the opportunity to present a little about the project this evening. Sorry, one sec. So just on the first slide I have here, this is the property details. They're from the White Rock City map, which shows the existing site dimensions and property information. Just the details on the side here, you know the address, 15439 Oxenham Avenue. We have the PID number, plan number. The size of the lot, approximately 7,920 square feet under the current RS1 zoning. So here is the proposed 3D drawing, which follows the same format as the only current existing duplex on Oxenham, the house number 15541. We have proposed two different roof styles to differentiate each unit. For the colors, we have went with earth tones to fit the neighborhood, and each unit has its own separate entrance along the sides, which also leads to the back. We have designed the house in a way neighbors' views are not obstructed by setting the house more back from the front property line. Shown here are the site statistics and site plan. The lot coverage is quite low compared to the max allowed, which in return gives us a bigger backyard and more landscape. The units are the max square foot allowed with private decks and balconies. The walkway to the entrances is on the same grade level as the road, so the driveway slope is also shown here and isn't too steep for cars. Oh, sorry. This page shows the neighborhood and new houses are starting to be built. As you said, there's 3 more applications before us, and they do meet the neighborhood 20% dynamics of what duplexes can be built. The street is not busy and kid friendly and falls under the mature neighborhood guidelines. So this is the main floor. It's very spacious and modern with a large kitchen and a spice kitchen. The great room has the ability to open up the exterior deck with the accordion doors. The main floor also has a den which can fit a bed for someone who has trouble going up the stairs, and the upstairs has 3 bedrooms with a laundry. Here we have a double garage with a rec room and another bedroom and bathroom for larger families. The land survey is shown here with the existing house. So let me just. That was on the last slide, sorry, on the side there. So the home, the exterior, we will have expensive cladding materials, wisely chosen and used. The windows are under the max allowed in the special calculations for the space. Again, this slide shows the exterior of the home, the side views, and the backyard. We have gone with an experienced landscaper who has done a recent project on the same street, and he has tied the landscaping perfectly with the house. The legends are provided in the slide here. And Neetu, actually, that concludes the presentation. If there's any questions, just please let me know.
Thank you, Harvinder. I'm just going to reshare my presentation right now. Okay, so that concludes the presentation portion of this event. I'm going to open the floor at this point to anyone attending to put in their ask any questions or comments. Hopefully everyone who's attending can see an easily identifiable box, which looks like a double speech bubble with a question mark and is highlighted here on the screen. This button is likely to your top right on your screen. So you should see a little icon like that, which you can click to offer any questions or comments that you have. I'm going to be publishing the comments and questions as they come in, and I'll then refer them to the applicant based on the nature of the questions, or I'll try to address it on behalf of the city. As I mentioned earlier, if, say, we're unable to properly answer your question or comment, or if something comes to mind after the meeting, or if you wish to offer your comments more formally, there is a digital feedback form available within the calendar details tied to this event. So if you go to whiterockcity.ca/calendar and look at the October 21st event date, which is today's date, and within that you would find the digital feedback form. All the comments that we receive regarding this application will be part of a future report to council, and it's a good opportunity for you to express your support or non-support for the application. If you have any additional questions or comments, you can send me an email to the email address seen on the screen, and I will try to respond to them with support from the applicant. So right now we don't have any questions, so we'll maybe wait for 5 to 10 minutes to see if we get a couple of questions, and we'll try to respond to them. Seeing that there are no questions at this time, and being that this is a brief meeting tonight, I will go over the next steps for this application, following which I will proceed to bring this public information meeting to an end. So after this meeting, we are going to be reviewing your feedback and look at any potential changes to the proposal from the feedback we receive from the digital feedback form, and comments if we receive any tonight. After we work with the applicant to address any of these concerns that was raised through the feedback we received, we will then take this application to the advisory design panel. This is a panel made of architects, landscape architects, engineers, and they provide feedback on the design. And this happens before the application proceeds to council. Once the advisory design panel has approved the application to proceed forward, we would prepare a zoning bylaw amendment for first and second reading and the draft development permit. And this would be presented for consideration to the Land Use and Planning Committee, which is a committee of all members of council. If the zoning bylaw amendment is supported by the Land Use and Planning Committee and council, we would schedule the public hearing. So the public hearing is going to be your opportunity to provide formal public feedback on this application directly to council. After the public hearing, if council decides to consider the application and move it forward, staff will bring it back to council for third reading of the bylaw. So during the third reading of the bylaw, there are certain conditions tied to it that will need to be satisfied, and we will work with the applicant to resolve those conditions. Once these conditions have been met, staff will finalize the bylaw for final reading and present it to council for consideration. And once the rezoning is in place, we will then look to issue the minor development permit. The applicant can then proceed at that stage to get the building permits for construction. So that's just the process moving forward. So at this time, we still have no attendees, and because we seem to be drawing closer to the end of the time set out for this public information meeting, I'm going to probably bring it to an end. I would like to thank Harbinder for being here and for anyone who may have been attending. I hope this was informative. If you have any further questions or concerns, please send me an email, and my email is on the screen here. You can send it to nsham@whiterockcity.ca. So have a great evening, and thank you very much.